What if the ordinary thing you throw away tonight is the one thing you'll search for tomorrow? Theo was not a bad person. He had good dreams. He wanted to learn, to build, to help his family. But he had one quiet habit that was slowly stealing his future. He always said, later. If he needed to study, he said, I'll start tomorrow. If someone needed his help, he thought, I'll do it after. If an idea came to him, he said, there's still plenty of time. And so the days slipped by. Theo woke up late, drifted through his hours, and by the time he looked up, the sun was already gone. One morning, his father asked for help fixing a weak spot on the roof. Theo, I need you today. Tomorrow we'll have too much work. Theo answered, sure, Dad, I'll do it later. But later never came. He found other things to do instead. That night, a heavy storm rolled in. Water poured through the damaged roof. Theo shot up in bed and ran to help his father. They spent hours trying to save the furniture, mopping water, catching drips in buckets. Exhausted, Theo sat in silence. His father didn't yell. He simply looked at him and said, son, some things we push to tomorrow cost far more once tomorrow actually arrives. Those words stayed with Theo. The next morning he walked without a direction, thinking about everything he kept putting off. That's when he found an old woman sitting beneath a fig tree near the shore. Her name was Yara. Theo sat beside her. After a quiet moment, she asked, you look troubled. Theo sighed. I think I'm wasting my life. Why do you think that? She asked. Because I always say I'll do things later, but the days keep passing and I stay exactly where I am. Yara was quiet for a while. Then she said, let me tell you a story. Long ago, there lived a poor clam digger. Every evening he walked the shore collecting shells to sell, but he barely made enough to feed his family. One night, walking home in the dark, his foot struck something. It was an old bag full of shells. He picked one up. It looked plain, worthless. So he thought, I might as well throw these into the sea while I wait for the tide to turn. And that's exactly what he did. Sitting at the water's edge, he tossed the shells one by one. Pick one up, throw it in. Pick another one, throw it in again. Each splash broke the silence of the night. He wasn't thinking about their worth. He was thinking about his hunger, his tiredness, his hard life. He kept throwing until only one shell remained in his hand. At that exact moment, the first light of dawn touched it. He froze. This shell wasn't ordinary. Inside was a rare black pearl, worth more than he'd earn in 10 years. He looked at the empty bag, he looked at the sea, and his heart sank, because he understood he had thrown away a fortune, shell by shell, all night long. Yara paused. Theo stared at her. What happened to him? He asked. He could have spent the rest of his life grieving those shells, she said, but there was one thing no one could give him back, the time he had already spent. That's how many people live, Theo. They receive their days the way that man received the shells, one after another, and because they don't recognize the worth of a single moment, they throw it all away. But how do I know if a moment matters? Theo asked. Yara smiled. You don't need to know. That's the secret. Any hour could hold value you can't see yet. An hour of studying could change your future. A conversation could hold up someone who needs you. A small effort could open a door you never expected. She picked up a shell from the sand and placed it in his palm. Imagine this is 1 hour of your life. You can waste it. She picked up another. You can hand it to distraction. Another. You can say you'll use it tomorrow. Another. Or you can build something with it. So time is like a fortune, Theo asked. Yara shook her head. More valuable than a fortune. Lost money can return. A missed chance might come again. But a minute that's already gone never comes back to be lived a second time. Theo went home that day and helped his father finish the roof. He began setting aside time to study. He stopped pushing small responsibilities to tomorrow. He wasn't perfect overnight. Some days he still felt lazy. But when that pull came, he thought of the clam digger, of the shells, and asked himself, "Am I throwing away a pearl without noticing?" Years passed. Theo built the life he once only imagined. One day, now older, he walked back to the fig tree. Yara was gone. He sat in her old spot, watching the sea. A boy nearby was struggling to pull his fishing net alone. Without a word, Theo walked over and helped him. Then he picked up a shell from the sand and smiled, because he finally understood completely that life doesn't hand you its treasures shining. Some arrive disguised as ordinary minutes. You don't need more time to be rich. You need to learn to value the time you already hold. If this story reminded you to stop waiting for later, give it a like, drop a comment, and share it with someone still holding a full bag of shells.